All right, individual assignment time. So your mission, which you should choose to accept, because that counts towards your grade, is to expand upon some of the functionality of your game using lists, enums, arrays, whatever it might be. So I'm going to implement the movement controller because I think that's going to be something that will help me a lot, and maybe the collections controller even as well. So I'm going to create a movement controller class. You might already have one when you stubber them all out. And I'm going to create 4 methods, and they're all going to return booleans for success or failure. One for move north, and it's going to take maybe just the game, because I'll need the map and the player, and the game has both of those things. So let's add the import for game, and then we'll implement move north, and then I'm just going to copy and paste it for all the other directions because it's really similar logic. So first things first, I need to get the player's current location. To get the player's current location, I need the player, which is in the game. So game.getPlayer.get current location, or get location is what I've called it, and I'm going to call that current location. And then I'm going to get my map. And I need to add the import. And somebody just rang my doorbell, so hang on 1 second. Okay, so I need to get the map as well. And a side note on these little exclamation points, you pretty much only ever want to add them when it's asking to add an import. And as far as imports go, the lists that you're importing are java.util.list, not java.awt.list. Java.util.list is what we want, and java.util.arraylist as well. Anyways, so I'm going to get my map, .get map, and again, the only exclamation point I'm going to use is the import one. So I have my current location, and I have the map, and I probably need the player because I'm going to update their location as well. It's game.getPlayer. And then I can even simplify this to just player because I already have a player. Oops. Okay, so I have the 3 things I need. So to figure out if you're allowed to move north, I need to make sure that your row is not 0. If your row is 0, I'm not going to let you move north because you can't, right? I'm not going to let you move into -1. So let's make sure. Oh, you know what? I don't have row and column on my current location. So I'm going to go ahead and add those to my model and then make sure that they get set. So I'll have a private int row and private int col, and then I'll add the getters and setters for those with that nifty little insert code option. And good to go there. And then over when I create my map, I need to set the row to be row and set the column to be column. So now when I create my map, every location has its row and column number. So now I can get the row and column location. Actually, I just need row, so I'm going to get the row, and I'm going to say if that row is 0, then return false. All right. We're not going to let you move if you're already at the top. Otherwise, and we don't need to add an else because return will just jump out of here, so we don't need to add an else. So if we're not at row 0, then I'm going to find the location 1 row above where I am at the same column, and then set the player's location to be that location. So I'll break it down. I'm going to say int current call gets current location dot get call, int current row gets current location dot get row, and then I just want to set the new column to be the current column -1, right? Because moving, like I said, in the previous video, 0, 0 is top left. So if we're moving north, we want to, not call, I meant row. We want to move one row up, which is going to be like from stepping from 4 to 3 or 1 to 0. So that's subtracting 1. So so I have the new row and the current. I have the new row and the current column, and those are the two, because I'm not going to change column. Those are the two I'm going to need to get the new location. So location, new location is going to be the map.getLocation at new row and new column, or current column, sorry. So that's the new location, and then I need to make sure to set that as the location of the player to the new location, and then I can return true, letting the system know, or the view know, that everything worked correctly. So that's my move north. I'm going to copy and paste this and show you the slightly more concise way to handle this movement. So if I'm moving east, that's incrementing column, so I need to make sure that column, if the column is equal to the map dot number of columns, the maximum amount of columns, then I need to return false. Actually, I might need I think it's -1 as well, because if I have 5 columns, the maximum index is 4. So so yeah, if I'm at the last column, can't move east. And then instead of doing all this, I can just do this all in one line. Set the location to the map.getLocation at current location.getRow, because I'm not changing rows, and current location.getCall +1. So does the exact same thing, but all in one line, right? And it's like math. There's like a whole order of operations. It's going to read the player variable, right? And this is a player. It's going to call the set location method. Then it's going to find and look for the parameters. Well, the parameter is a single location. So this whole thing better evaluate to a location. Well, I got the map variable. I'm going to call get location. And then I'm passing it into a parameter, which is current location.getRow. So it's going to evaluate that, which is, if I'm at row 0, going to return 0. So then this just becomes the number 0. Get call +1 is going to return whatever column I'm at +1. So if I'm at 2, it's going to be 3. So I'll be at 0, 3. Map.getLocation at 0, 3 should return the location at 0, 3, and then I can set the location of the player. Long and complicated, totally doable. If you want to do this way, that's totally fine. If you want to do this way, that's totally fine. They both do the same thing. So let's move east. Let's move south. And this time I need to make sure that the row is not the very last row. And then I'm going to keep you at the same column and increment your row. And then I can do move, what is this, west? Never eat soggy waffles? Yeah. And then I'm not going to change your row. I'm going to move you left a column and then make sure that your column is not 0. And then we're good. So I just implemented the entire movement controller. And then the way I'm going to call it is from my game menu view. I'm going to, in move north, I'm going to create a movement controller. MC. And then I'm just going to call mc.moveNorth. And then I need to I need to pass it in my game, right? And this is that game that I can access from anywhere because I have a static instance. And then even better is if that movement is false, then I can output something like you cannot move there. All right. If it's true, they move successfully. I don't really care. I don't need to output anything. And then I can copy this for move east, except for instead of move north, I'll call move east. 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 Move south. And that's south. My typing is off today. And move west. Okay, so this movement should work. I'm going to add an additional case that's going to show me my current location. Maybe that's L. And this will help demonstrate that I can move. And I'm not going to create a controller or anything for this. I'm just going to create a new case for L. And it's going to be view current location. And then I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to create a method for it. And then I'm going to output you are at, and then maybe a parenthesis. And then I need to, well, let's get the current location so I don't have to this a really long call. Location L gets game, or not game, save the city dot get game dot get player dot get current location, and that's going to give me my current location. So then I can just do L dot get row plus a comma space plus L dot get call plus a close parentheses, and that should be it. So if I run this, I can start a new game. I can view the map. I can view my current location, which is at 0, 0. I can move, if I try and move north, it should say I can't move there, which is correct. If I try and move west, so it should say I can't move there. If I try and move south, it should let me, and if I view my current location, I'm now at 1, 0. If I move east a whole bunch, I should be able to move 4 or 5 times. 3, 4, 5. So yeah, 4 times. And if I view my current location, I'm at 1, 4. And I can view my map, which is at 1, because I moved south once, and then I move east 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm in a neighborhood over here, right? And then my search for people, I would look to see if there's any people in this area. If it's a villain, I would fight them. If it's a hero, I would collect them. If it's or I'd have to answer a puzzle and then collect them. And if it's a citizen, then I collect them or save them or whatever. And in my game, the end condition is you find the mayor or whatever. So one of these locations is going to have the mayor, and that's going to end the game. So every time you search for a person, you're going to either run the risk of running into a villain, or you're going to add a hero to your team so that you can fight villains, or you're going to find the mayor. And if the villains defeat you, then you lose. If you find the mayor, you win. So you could win on the first turn in my game, but it's unlikely. So anyways, that's your individual assignment. Do something like move, or do something like add items, or you do something like the store where you buy things. So you'll be giving up players money and adding the item they bought. If you're doing anything where you're collecting items from a location, one of the gotchas is you got to make sure to remove that item from the location when you add it to the player's inventory. And I may end up doing that a little bit later tonight and still committing all of this to my repository. So if you want to check out my code, you're more than welcome to. You can have it on your machine, run it, play with it. I will not let you commit and push to my repository. But yeah, you're welcome to look at that. It's also online if you want to just go to GitHub and look at it. I've published the URL several times. So yeah, good luck with the assignments this week. And the developer forum is open for questions, and so am I. During office hours and outside of office hours, whatever, just let me know. And yeah, hope you have a good time this week.